Warning, the following discusses a film that is still playing in theaters at the time of this episode's release. Spoilers will follow. You have been warned. You're listening to the all-new CultureCast, Chicagoland's finest podcast.
Welcome to the newest edition of the all-new CultureCast. I am the Gorehound, and with me today is...
Nick.
Hey, Nick, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Gorehound. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's been a busy few days, and I finally got some time to just sit down and podcast.
Which is like your favorite thing in the world, I believe.
I do look forward to it. It's a break from the work, break from the everyday living. It's just time to just talk and podcast. So today we are going to be talking about John Wick and Keanu. Keanu was just released a few weeks ago, is that right?
About a month ago, yes.
Okay.
And John Wick was like what? A year, 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was just released on DVD a while ago, so it's been out for a while. Mm-hmm. But I guess it's easy to tell that Keanu Reeves is John Wick, and Keanu the movie is the same name.
Yes, these two films are very different, but exactly the same in the sense that they both deal with a pet, that something has happened to them, to the pet, and their owners are out for, in John Wick's case, revenge, or in Keanu's case, getting the cat back. Obviously, they also, especially in Keanu's case, sort of plays on the premise of John Wick, to the point that in a dream sequence, I guess not a dream sequence, but in a hallucination, the cat is actually voiced by Keanu Reeves in the movie. So
yeah, as soon as I heard that, I was like, I have got to see this right now. It was just like, man, it's awesome that he did that.
Mm-hmm. So here's how this is going to go. Excuse me, my voice is all over the place. I have not actually seen John Wick. I want to. It's just one of those movies that I've never had a chance to get through. Came out 2 years ago, and I still have yet to see it. And Gorehound, you have not seen Keanu yet. Is that correct?
Correct.
So and I have seen it. So, and you have seen John Wick. So we have seen both of these movies, or we have seen one of the two of these movies. So we're going to be, I guess, sort of like talking about and interviewing each other on these different films. I was thinking that maybe, Gorehound, we could talk about one, and then we could move over to the other, and then just see where our conversation takes us from there.
Okay, yeah, because I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible, because we're going to be saying the word Keanu a lot.
Yes.
So anything to simplify this, let's do that.
Yeah, I think this would be a good way to go. So, and then we could talk about the comparisons of the two films, depending on how many there are with as we kind of go along here. So let's do John Wick first, if you're down with that.
Very good.
Because that movie did come out first. It came out in October of 2004. I'm sorry, 2014. Very different. 2000. I'm doing it again. 2014 it came out. So tell me a little bit about John Wick, Gorehound.
It's an American revenge film starring Keanu Reeves, and it's a very it's a simple movie where John Wick is simply trying to get revenge for this little dumbass kid who decides to kill his dog. And that was what most people knew about this film, was that there's a really brutal dog killing scene. And that's really what captured most people's attention. And they were like, no, I'm not going to go see that. But I think that's what makes the reason that the dog was killed, and then that's pretty much the reason behind the film as to why we're moving forward, is because that dog had such a big meaning in this guy's life. Um,
His is the dog. Is it really a brutal scene when they kill the dog, or is it like he just finds the dog dead?
it is pretty intense. Where you don't see, and it's not intense like Human Centipede. Um,
Oh,
and because when I think of revenge films, I think of you see a lot of shit, and this is not it. That's why I say American because it's pretty toned down in terms of revenge films. Um, so yeah. Well, I guess I should back up a little bit. His wife dies, and then the wife, after her passing, gives John Wick a dog, and he says, "You need to love something in order for you to like move on from my death." So it's like she gives him the dog, and like not like a week later, these just little punk asses come and kill the dog, and they take his car, and he's just like, "Well, I'm just gonna go crazy now," and he basically seeks revenge for them killing his dog, which was given to him by his just recently deceased wife.
so it's almost like they killed the wife in some ways,
Exactly.
because that was his last connection. This living
Exactly.
creature.
Right. That was her last wish. The last wish that he heard was that love this dog. So they kill the dog and take his car, and that's like you're taking part of his wife, you're taking part of me, and it's just like he cannot like because he left this life of crime, which we later find out that he is like one of the biggest like he used to be such a tough criminal, and then he left it for his wife and decided that he didn't want to be in the game, and he just like gets back into it, and he just gets back into it just like 0 to 100%. It's like it never left him. He just suppressed it, and it's this movie is just so good in the sense that it brings everything together, all the elements of a movie together, where the pace of the movie, the colors, everything that's happening just really makes it solid, and you're never bored with it.
So the
And you
movie
oh
moves along at a pretty good pace then.
yeah, certainly.
It definitely seems like John Wick is Keanu Reeves' version of Taken, in the sense that you have what Zach had coined, and I'm going to continue with it, like the dad fiction,
Hmm.
in that this is a movie designed for, it's a guy's movie, and not that women can't enjoy it, but it's strictly for a very specific audience of
Hmm.
guys, probably guys who are uh, 30s to 50s or so.
Hmm.
That's like the
And
target audience.
I wouldn't say that this is. I do understand what that dad fiction is, but this is. I don't feel like it really falls into that because I feel like with Taken, you know, every 20 minutes you're like, I'm doing this because I'm a dad and I'm getting my daughter back.
Well, I don't mean dad fiction in that this is a dad doing something, but dad fiction in like this is a movie that's going to be designed towards like dads because the main character is
Mm.
uh not he's not young, he's not a young action star, he's not like old grizzled. He's just in that like middle-ish age sort of group
Mm.
where they can audience the dads in the audience can identify with like this character, like okay, I could see this is
Mm.
kind of like me, I can relate to this guy. Not so much that they're getting revenge on a uh, for a kid of theirs, but more like it speaks to them of who they are in that sort of point in their life. Kind of like how you have like the mom fiction with like things like 50 Shades of Grey or the Harley Quinn romance novels. Like that
Yeah.
speaks specifically to like moms and housewives because that's how those stories kind of
Okay.
began because women would be at home, they'd be back in the day, they would be doing the cooking, doing the supermarket shopping, and you'd have those dime store novels that talk about, Fabio's on the cover with his chest open with
Yeah.
a woman, and they would pick them up so they would have something to do during the day when they're not taking care of the kid or having to cook or they had some downtime, and it appeals to that raw intensity.
Yeah.
Same way like these types of movies, like your Takens, your John Wicks, your
Yeah.
Kevin Costner had one a couple years ago, 3 Days to Kill
Yeah.
that
Yeah, no,
appeal to that
I
kind
could
of
see where you're
generation.
going with this. I guess my hesitation is that I think Taken is like the front runner of dad fiction.
Oh yeah, it totally
Yeah.
is. But
And I don't really like that series very much, so it kind of stains my perception of dad fiction. But yeah, when you put it in analogously to mom fiction, yeah, I can see that.
yeah, so that's what I mean, I guess, by that.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that John Wick is very much the latest of those types of films, or not
Hmm.
the latest because there's been films since then, but it falls in that genre there.
Yeah.
Is the action good in the film? Like, is it like legitimately like this is exciting, this is unique, or is it like just kind of bland where they just have the camera up and shoot, 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 but it's nothing we haven't seen before?
It is a little repetitive with the amount of gun work.
Okay.
Uh, most of the deaths are just shots to the face,
Mm.
which is really cool, but it's kind of generic. Where I really wish that I had seen more creative kills. And I know, Keanu Reeves is just well, apparently he knows like a lot of kung fu in because in Man of Tai Chi, like he learned like a whole bunch,
I know kung fu.
right? And so I would expect him to really play that out because apparently he likes it a lot. But you really didn't see a whole lot. You pretty much only just saw tough guy John Wick,
Mm.
um, who's a very good shot.
So not so much hand-to-hand combat, just more.
Right, right, and I don't like it when the kills are heavily sided towards gunshots. I like to see like an equal percentage of um, big guns, automatic stuff, and then 50% like just environmental stuff or hand to hand stuff. So
To the best of your knowledge, I'm guessing that during the kill shots there was blood that exploded. You saw blood or something like that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, this is pretty R rated. No getting around that.
Do you know, to the best of your knowledge, do you know if the blood was a practical effect or if it was CGI?
I would have to imagine CGI because it's not really the focus on it. People weren't coming here to see practical effects. They were coming here to see a revenge film, to see Keanu Reeves just kick ass. And I would not have expected them to really focus in on using the practical effects because I don't think it would be cost worthy when that's not what people are looking at.
That's true. A lot of action films. I know not the Incredibles. Oh my God, the Expendables.
Yeah.
Those films have been somewhat criticized because they use the CGI blood in a lot of
Mm,
the action sequences, and uh, the people said exactly what you had alluded to right there is that it was just cheaper to do it than to actually have the blood pack exploding on camera.
right. Yeah, yeah, because it really pays off in like a horror movie where that's what, I would say 75% of gorehounds like myself like to see is practical effects in horror movies. Um, but in movies like this, we really, I wouldn't pick a fight because they chose CGI in this movie.
No, that's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah. But yeah, because right before we started talking, I did a little bit of review. But uh, one of the punk ass in this movie is have you seen you watch Game of Thrones, right?
I do not. My fiance watches Game of Thrones, so I kind of watch it through her. Like if I'm in the room, I'll sit
Yeah,
down.
Theon Greyjoy.
Is it
Uh,
Alfie something or other?
yes, he is the little punk ass who pretty much starts all of this, and he's in this, and it's very weird to see him in this like like uh like gangster role when I just see him as this like dilapidated fool in Game of Thrones. So that was pretty good.
It's weird when you see people or actors in a role that's different from what you associate it with.
Oh yeah, yeah, like Kit Harington. He was in what was it? There was Silent Hill Revelation. Um,
When did that
it,
come out?
it was like a 2012, just like nobody cares.
I remember when the first Silent Hill came out about 10 years ago,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Kit Harington is in Silent Hill Revelation, and he just looks like, oh my gosh, he's come a long way from that 2012 production.
looking at the cast of it's actually a pretty impressive cast that they have on here. Like obviously the aforementioned Keanu Reeves and Alfie Allen, but
Hmm.
also Adrian Palicki, who is an it girl, I suppose, within the sci-fi community. She's done a lot of like geek related projects, but also uh, John Leguizamo, John Leguizamo, William
Hmm.
Dafoe, and Ian McShane are also in this film, which that's a pretty good rounded cast that you have going on there.
Yeah, yeah. John Leguizamo is really good, and he helps bring it together because he's like best friends with Keanu Reeves, and you could really see that play out because he's kind of like a bridge between like the the bad underground world and like the good gangsters, i.e., John Wick.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, yeah, yeah. And William Dafoe is in there. Um, not a really big role, but a role nonetheless.
Anything else to say about John Wick?
Um, yeah, yeah. Immediately after ending the movie, I really it kind of just ended, and I was just like, okay, that was a good movie. But for some reason, after like I didn't let it digest for a while, that's when it really hit me, just at how good this was. Just to think, like, I don't know, you don't really see revenge films like this a whole lot, starring people that you know, like Keanu Reeves, that it really just um, it really stands out, and it really makes you want more of something that's the story is so strong and powerful. And yes, the first that the dog scene is intense, but you kind of have to build up that intensity to really um, drag out the rest of the film.
To like make the film pay off, you need
Right,
to
right. We don't need that much story after that
like you need to
because
just feel his pain essentially.
right, and they accomplish it at the very beginning, and yeah, rest of the film is him just trying to get the next guy to get to Theon Greyjoy and finish it. So,
So would you recommend John Wick?
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it is for somebody who doesn't like violence or like intense movies. I would not. But yeah, I guess when you take into account that this is kind of dad fiction, you're not going to find a whole lot of women who like it because it's just you know
It's just a shoot 'em up action film.
right. If you miss the reason why he's doing this, it's just like every other action film. So,
Are you excited about John Wick Chapter
oh
2?
yeah, yeah, so excited. And I really hope they just like maintain the level. Um, I don't know where they could go from here because he,
This time he buys a cat.
well, no, because one of the best things about this is that at the end of the movie, he finally, spoilers, but he kills the young Greyjoy, and then he basically gets a new dog because it wasn't the particular dog that his wife gave him that had the impact. It was just something to take care of. And at the end of the movie, you see him take a new dog and pretty much say, okay, I can take care of you and we can move on with life together. So it really shows that it wasn't just about the dog. It was about the moving forward from his wife's death.
So it works on many levels.
Yeah, 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 certainly.
Well, maybe in the new movie he gets a plant, and someone
Yeah,
someone kills his plant by not
yeah,
watering it, so he decides to kill everyone in sight.
right, right.
So
Just like the time that you went to Vegas and I almost killed your peace lily.
yeah,
And just in a few years, it's just going to be waiting for me. I'm just going to come home and
yes, I've been slowly developing this friendship for the past 6 years in order to destroy you for nearly destroying my peace lily.
so let's move on.
Yes. Speaking of revenge films, Keanu and kittens,
Yeah.
I had the pleasure to go see the recently released Keanu,
Yeah.
starring. Oh my God, I'm going to say their names wrong. Let me make sure I get this right. Starring Jordan Peele and Keegan-Michael Kay, who are best known for their variety show on Comedy Central, Key and Peele. Or was it
Hmm.
Peele and Kay? I don't know.
It was
I
Key and Peele. We
Key and
watch it
Peele.
quite a bit.
I have not really sat down to watch their show. I've seen clips of
Mhm.
it, and it just doesn't connect with me. I'm like, it's not my thing.
Yeah.
But I am glad I saw this movie because this movie is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
It, I do wonder how much of it was them already writing the film and seeing the similarities to John Wick, adding the Keanu thing after the fact. But the premise of this, you have two cousins, and they're very close. They live in like suburban California, and one of them finds a kitten, shows up at their doorstep. So he loves this kitten because it's helping him deal with a breakup. Interestingly enough, his
Hmm.
girlfriend breaks up with him right before the movie, and it's helping him deal with the breakup. And then one day, these gangsters break into his house when he's not there, mistakenly thinking it was someone else's house, and they take the cat. So these two guys decide we gotta go get our cat back, and they figure out who took him. And so they go and pretend to be these gangster type underworld characters that are notorious killers in the area to meet this other gangster who actually now owns the cat. They have to pretend to be the Allentown brothers in order to do a job for this guy so they can get the kitten back because they say we'll help you out if you give us the kitten.
Hmm.
And where most of the humor comes from this is that these are two black guys. They live in the suburbs, so they're very, I wouldn't say they're yuppie, but they're kind of yuppie. And now they're having to pretend to be, these hardcore
Is this just a
gangsters.
straight up comedy film?
Oh well, it's a lot of action. As the movie goes on, it has a lot of comedy action in it, but
Okay.
it's primarily a comedy.
Okay.
Um, like
Did
towards
did either you or the girl shed a tear?
no,
Were you close?
no.
No.
There are
Okay.
some
It never gets to that point where you're considering shedding a tear.
No, the only
Okay.
time that might happen is that the cat that they use in the movie is so damn cute
Yeah.
that anytime it does something, you just go like, "Aww."
Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't say you
Yeah.
you shed a
Do you,
tear at all.
do you think it was CGI?
That's what we were trying to figure out because
Because even from the trailers, I see some of it slow mo, and I'm like, I don't know if that's real or not.
like we were trying to figure that out too because there's some scenes that's very obviously it's a cat.
Hmm.
There are other scenes where the cat is like running and like dodging, all the action that's going on that it's like I don't know if did they CGI the cat right there? Because if they did at least to me a fairly good job of it.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, but I don't
Yeah.
know if the cat is CGI,
Okay.
but
Well, yeah. Move forward with the premise.
yeah. So basically, what the setup is that these sort of like dorky guys are trying to act tough. A coworker of mine made this comment, and it's very true. Is that this movie blends like what people would consider white humor with like black humor, and kind of like merging of these two very different types of humor styles really sort of makes it work as a
Hmm.
comedy. Because as these guys are getting in deeper and deeper, things just get crazier and crazier and crazier. Another thing in the film that I appreciated was the fact that, many action films or comedies where characters do things and and things go crazy and get over the top, their reactions to everything are very normal. But in this film, they react how a regular person would react to it. Like they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, this just happened. How are we going to get away with this?"
Yeah.
Like in the film, they see someone get killed, and they have a look on their face of like sheer dread and panic because they never saw anyone get killed before, and they're trying to play it off as being cool, so they're not found out and killed. Whereas in any other movie, they would see someone be killed and they wouldn't bat an eye to it.
Hmm.
So, like their reaction to all of this is, it works in so many levels.
Hmm.
If I had a complaint about the film, it would be that the cat Keanu isn't in it as much as I thought he would be.
Okay.
Like based on the previews, because you see the cat a lot in the previews.
Hmm.
For a good portion of the film, you don't see the cat at all. Like they're doing things to get the cat, but the cat is just not on screen. I thought he'd be in it more, but
Yeah.
I,
Why did you want to see this originally? Because you said that you don't watch Key and Peele, right?
correct. Yeah, I've never really watched the show.
I feel like that was one of the biggest or people who watched that were the primary audience for
That's
Keanu.
that's probably true. We saw the preview. It looked funny. We have two cats ourselves,
So it was the
so
cat that brought you in.
kinda, and it just
Yeah.
looked that, and it just looked silly and stupid. So
Okay.
I'd be like, all right, this is going to be a good 2 hour diversion.
Yeah.
And here's the greatest part about this whole experience of seeing it in the movie theater.
Oh, right, right. I remember.
We happened to see it the Sunday that Captain America Civil War opened up. So we went to the theater, we got our tickets, we sat down. We were the only ones in the theater. It was amazing. It's like we had our own private showing.
Yeah.
So it was amazing. With Keanu, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I would recommend it, but I would think that I saw it once and I'm good. If I never see it again, that's okay.
Okay.
Like if it was on TV, I was channel surfing, like okay, I'll put it on. But as for itching to see it again, like no, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. How was the Keanu Reeves hallucination scene?
It was funny, very very short.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I,
The story behind that was that um, Keanu Reeves, somebody in Keanu Reeves' family had seen the trailer because it was they edited that in like last thing
I could,
because
yeah, I was wondering about that.
they had originally asked him, but he just kind of discounted it and said no. But then somebody in his family saw it and was like, "You should do it." And he's like, "Okay." And so yeah, they just like threw it in wherever they could last minute.
Yeah, that was it's a very specific scene because the character has he trips out on drugs because he didn't realize what he was smoking. He has this crazy like dream sequence or this hallucination, and it ends with a slight Matrix parody with Keanu the cat talking to him as Morpheus, but
Yeah.
being voiced by Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
And it's very very quick, like maybe about 30 seconds of the film, but
Yeah.
it doesn't outlast its welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Keanu.
Okay.
I would say, I don't know, with these two films, they are so different from one another, but they both have Keanu Reeves, and they're both
But
about.
at the heart of the story, I think that the biggest difference is that Keanu lives in your movie and the
The,
dog doesn't. And I think that is the biggest difference. I mean,
that would be really depressing if the cat died.
yeah.
Sometimes, like especially towards the end there, where things just get just over the top crazy, I was
Yeah.
kind of worried. Like, are they going to kill off the cat? Because there's a scene where they're like speeding down the street in a car, and the two guys in the car, like one the good guy and one's the bad guy, and they're fighting, and the windshield busts, and the cat goes flying and is on top of the hood of the car as the car's
Hmm.
like speeding down the street, just kind of like meow.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my god, what's going to happen to this cat?
Yeah.
Do you plan on seeing Keanu now?
Um,
That I've
we yeah, we watch Key and Peele quite a bit. And that the fact that we watch Key and Peele and the show is entertaining in itself. And I've heard that it really does hold up, at least until the ending. Um, Prior to where the action really picks up, I've read that the story is pretty good and it really holds your attention. And that's as to be expected because they're used to, doing like 5-minute segments in
hmm
Key and Peele. So really drawing that out into an hour and a half, I've heard that they really do it well. We're certainly not going to run into theaters to see it because there's a lot more other things that we're looking forward to going to see. But as soon as it comes out on DVD, I will really be looking forward to seeing that.
No, that's fair. I don't think it's a movie that needs to be
Rushed into,
rushed to see it in the theater. Yeah, like
yeah,
there aren't any like huge effects sequences or something that you need to see on the big screen. It works as like a DVD rental probably.
yeah. I could certainly tell you that I'm more looking forward to seeing John Wick 2. So,
Well, I have to see John Wick 1.
John Wick, dude, such a badass.
Maybe they'll have a crossover movie down the line. John Wick meets Keanu.
I mean, that could happen. I mean, or if in like John Wick, like Key and Peele have like a little cameo or something.
That would be funny. That would be a nice little nod if they did that. Although I would wonder if that would take it out of the movie. Like, oh, look, it's two comedians in the middle
Right,
of this like serious revenge movie.
right. I have no idea where they would be able to put it in, but I would greatly appreciate it. But just because I think there should be more cameos in movies, but
I don't know about that. I go. I don't know. Depends on how the cameo works.
yeah. Like the fact that Keanu Reeves did something in the movie
hmm
Keanu increases my interest by at least 20 to 30% in it. So I value cameos in movies very highly.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I got nothing else to say about these two films. Sounds
Yeah,
like we are recommending two good films to watch back to back.
yeah. Well, all right. Well, let's wrap it up. It's been a wonderful podcast, and until next week, we are the All New Culture Cast.
Bye, everyone. You've been listening to the all new Culture Cast, where every episode is all new. Check out our blog, Zach and Nick's Culturecast, at znculturecast.wordpress.com, and find us on social media. Send us an email at nick.culturecast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback, comments, and requests. Theme music by bensound.com. The all new Culturecast, a saltwater production, copyright 2016. In order to destroy you for nearly destroying my peace lily.
Yeah.
Which, on a side note, did die about 2 years ago, sadly.
Yeah.
And I got another one, and that one died too.